Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. My name's Kate James. I'm the Executive Director at Concord Art here in Concord, Mass. And I'm guessing that most of our guests tonight are artists from Members Juried 1 2022. The show looks fantastic. It is up on the walls and all the labels are made, and you are welcome to come see it. I'm sorry that we couldn't have tonight's opening in person, but it seemed prudent to do otherwise. So hopefully this will be the last one. I don't know. I hope so. Anyway, we're always excited to have an opening because it gives us a chance to see and be with all of our amazing members. And Members Juried 1 Painting and Sculpture is the foundation of this organization. Luckily, we were able to have the intake and jury in person rather than digitally online. And that I felt like was a step forward because the juror likes to see the artwork in person. And we like to show it to them in person. So that was a great thing. So I'd like to thank Carolyn Letvin and her team of volunteers for doing intake and also the jury day. I'd like to thank our intrepid installers, Bill and Charles. They put up with me, and I'm really fussy, as you can imagine, and they do a great job, so I want to thank them. I'd like to also thank Natalie Reiser, our new assistant director. A special thanks to her, because despite the newness of organizing this entire thing, she was organized and unflappable, and she did a terrific job. So I want to thank her especially. And also our new intern, Natalie Fondrius. Notice we have 2 Natalies for your benefit, so you don't have to remember too many names. We used to have 5 Kates. Now we have 2 Natalies. But she's our new intern, and she is unbelievably smart and capable. And really, she did the best job I've ever seen organizing all your work up in the Roberts Gallery. It was amazing. So welcome to the team, Natalie. We love having you. And please, when you come in to see this show, I hope you introduce yourselves to those 2. Of course, we still have our beloved Marissa, and she helped us put together this program tonight. So we're grateful for that. So MJ1 is up, and it looks great. But also we have a really special show up, Elizabeth Wentworth Roberts, a painter and philanthropist, and that is inhabiting 2 of the galleries, and that will be up for the year, and we'll have rotating works in and out of that show. It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. I wish I had the labels up and all the explanations up, but I don't yet. But I've talked to so many people today about it, and they can't get over how talented and how beautiful this work was. And most of them say, "Where is this?" most of the time. And we're like, well, we have an archive, and this is from our permanent collection. So we're really excited that we get to show this work to you. So all you painters are going to love it, and I'd love to talk to you about it. So when you come in, let me give you a tour. So we're celebrating 100 years of Concord Art this year, and this is part of our celebration. And it wasn't easy to put this work up, but I had the help of Holly Harrison, who I'd like to give an honorary art history degree to, because she, well, as you all know, Holly is very smart, but now she's an art historian too. So she helped me do all the labels and write write about the work for you. So I'm very excited about that. So without further ado, I hope I thanked everybody. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Lyson Keane, who owns and operates the Lyson Keane Gallery on Harrison Avenue. She's a relatively new gallerist. She started her gallery during the pandemic, and she's unbelievably successful because Lysanne gets things done. Lyson, I said Lysanne because it's Lyson Keane. So she was a volunteer at Concord Art when she first moved to the country, and she lived in Lexington, and we really enjoyed her. But she needed to move on because she's so talented. And what I love about her gallery is that on her website, it says she provides a platform for non-mainstream voices. And I think what Lysanne does that's really lovely is she wants to represent the underrepresented. And I believe that's a great thing. So please welcome Lysanne. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Lysanne Keane. Thank you, Kate, for that wonderful introduction, and also inviting me to be the juror of this amazing show. It was very difficult to come to pick the winners because everyone is so talented. Every work is so good. So, you know, I applaud the quality of work that you get at your art center. It's, you know, it shows you that we need to champion work in Boston, in Greater Boston. So not just in Boston City, but Greater Boston. So, you know, when I went out there on that snowy day, I got to see, I was so bowled over by all the wonderful talents in front of my eyes. So I'm supposed to talk about the winners, right? Have you announced the winners yet? Sorry.
No.
Not yet.
Not
so they don't know.
I can help you. We're just asking you to tell us who you awarded, who you gave prizes to for this show. And you have the list and you wrote something about each one. So we'll just go one at a time.
Okay. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So, okay, I will then, I don't want to waste anybody's time because I think, you know, it's people probably want to, you know, are anxious and they want to go and have spend time with their family and have dinner. So I'm going to say, I'm going to announce all the winners, and then I will go through each and every one of them, why I picked them, and then I will interact with the winners. So the winners are, I actually picked 5, and there's no like number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are equally good, because Kate told me, hey, you know, we have this prize money, you do what you need. And I'm like, I don't want to pick number 1 or 2. It's just, you know, it's kind of egalitarian the way I want to do it. So 5 equally best. So I have picked, sorry, I'm just looking at the notes, sorry. Okay.
I can help you. I know who the first one is. The first winner.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I've got it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are so many things open on my screen. I apologize. So the first winner is Eve Cohen.
Yay, Eve.
With her work Leaning In. And the second one.
Let's just go one at a time.
Oh, okay. So you want to do that? Okay, great. So is Eve on the Zoom right now?
She is. So you just tell us why you chose it.
Okay, I prepared remarks because in the beginning we were going to have a in-person reception, so I was supposed to give a speech or, you know, to let everyone know. So I did prepare remarks for each of them. So I wrote this about her work. I responded to Leaning In for the sake of its abstraction, and I had a positive, visceral response to it. The composition, color, and organization all worked in harmony. It's not jarring and shows a level of confidence and competence that is not often the case in abstract works. It stood out to me because it was the exception to the rule in this show. So yeah, that's my remarks for Eve. So if Eve could be seen on screen, I would love to pose a few questions. Hi, Eve. Okay, so my question to her: how do you approach abstraction? It's a kind of vague, broad question, but
I'm a little technically challenged. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Hi, good evening. Thank you very much for the award. It means a lot to me. And the way I tend to approach my work is very intuitively. I grew up very much in a modern household with architects and designers, and my work is literally these days, I try not to have a plan or stay too much in my head. I tend to pick a palette, pick materials that I like, and lay them out like a surgeon would, a doctor. You lay it all out and just sort of try to set, use those as the confines of what I'm going to work with. Otherwise, you know, the sky is limitless. And I too really like this piece, and it was, thank you for the compliments on it, because it worked. It just kept, I mean, there's a lot of layers in it. And there's a lot of layers in the way I work, and is I just try to stay out of my head and work, and oftentimes remove things and add things. And when it starts to, as you use the word harmony, when I feel like there's the parts are working and there's harmony, then I try to stop. Often I overwork things, but anyway, that's my very simple approach to my work. I don't know. My daughter said this looks like Tim Burton, and I was just impressed. She knew who Tim Burton was. But I sort of like that now. Now I sort of see a lot of Tim Burton in this piece.
People, I think viewers can see what they want to see. You know, that's the thing about abstraction, isn't it? You can see an animal in it. You can see plants, trees, flower, whatever. It's, you know, it's the reaction the viewers have to your work that's important, isn't it? And of course, my reaction is very positive. So I think I have a second question, you know, following that, is what are the qualities that you consider a successful abstract work?
What I consider successful is there's just a point where it just it makes sense. It's like, as they do in cooking shows, you know, you put your hands up, I'm done, and you walk away from it. And I think it's important that I hope that the work resonates with people, and that it doesn't ask too much of them, that it's that it just, something resonates, and when it does, it's so satisfying. And I have a lot of misses, but when you hit it on the mark, it's just, as most artists know, it's just such a wonderful feeling.
Why did you title it Leaning In?
Well, it's funny because what I see in it is I see a very tall person on the back of a bike, leaning in, leaning over, protecting somebody small or younger. It's a protective piece to me. It's just that it should have been called maybe Leaning Over, but I'm horrible at coming up with titles, and it just seemed like there was movement in it, and you lean into things like the book Leaning In a little bit. So that's how it was, just more of a movement than anything else.
That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And congratulations.
Thank you.
I think we can move on to the second winner, who is Catherine Geismar. I hope I say her name correctly.
You did, thank you.
Hi, Catherine. I think we've met.
Mm-hmm. We have.
Yes. So can I read you my remarks?
Please.
So the reason I chose your four, what do you call this, quadriptych?
I don't know what to call it. It stops at triptych.
That's right? Yeah, because I actually have to look it up. It's like, what do you call a four work together? You know, you have diptych, triptych, quadriptych.
It's a polyptych, maybe, once it passes 3.
Ah, wow. Okay. All right. So my remarks in response to your work is the title is not like the other. Tell us about, sorry. Reading the wrong notes. I need glasses these days. The artist has created intimate and sensitive portraits of a teenager, employing both deliberate and deft brushstrokes. It's evident that she feels pure joy and delight for the subject, which translates in this work and lively palette. The quadriptych of 4 small-scale portraits is as compelling as any figurative works I saw in the show. So, because I'm amongst all the figurative works I saw that day, and you're the only one with small-scale works. I am always drawn to little works because I had to pay attention to them. Because I have to look closer and to see what is it all about. And the fact that your works they drew me to them, you know, it tells me that it's powerful, it's compelling. And I have questions for you. Tell us about the subject of your painting.
So first of all, thank you so much. It really means a lot to hear your words and also to just have been selected for the show. I feel like you've got an amazing eye. And so the subject is my child. So the love is clearly there. And it's been part of this work I've been doing for about 2 years now, trying to see my child on their own terms as they question their gender identity. And so it's a celebration of who they are becoming and trying to see them on the way. And what compels me in part is that even though I come back again and again to the same source image, I see it differently every time. So there's iterations, but I see something new in this person. And so it inspires different palettes, different love, different moments, different passages.
That's wonderful. It's love, what you just said. Why did you paint in such small scale and why in quads?
So I've been doing these really big portraits and they're very demanding. And for the past 6 months, I think I've been doing life-size drawings. So, and they're very faithful to a shared reality. And I just had this real desire to shed all of that, sort of the way my child is shedding norms, I guess, about a shared reality, and just to free myself to explore with more joy and more freedom and more curiosity. And I had done these 4, and when I put them together, I sort of thought of that Sesame Street song, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. And that's from my childhood, and it was horrifying to me in a way to think about that as a song about saying something doesn't belong in the quad, because it was 4 images. And so in a way it was a play on thinking about who belongs, who doesn't belong, and the fact that all of these belong and none of them are like the other. And that's, you know, sort of something I'm celebrating.
That is true. If you see each piece on its own, they are kind of different from each one, from the other. It's like an evolution, yes. So I also have another question for you. Any thoughts on the direction and trends of contemporary portraiture painting?
A little question.
It's a big question.
I mean, I'm sure I have a lot of thoughts. They're probably not very well informed, but I can say that the work that is most compelling to me at the moment is often work that's being done. I mean, contemporary work is work that's being done by people of color, actually. So I'm dying to see the Jenny Packer show at the Whitney, and Amy Sherrod and Kehinde Wiley, but all the people represented by the Jack Shainman Gallery. I feel like I'm really interested in people who are exploring identity, questions about identity and belonging, and that's where the work is so powerful and fresh and brilliant. And so that's the work I mostly look at when I'm looking at work.
I think there are questions in the chat about your work. People are asking what is the exact size of each one. If I think the measurement 14 by 14 is the combined measurement.
So each of the images is 5 inches by 5 inches.
5 by 5.
This is almost life size. Yeah, another 5 inches.
Oh, okay, great. All right. I think that's, yeah, so thank you so much, Catherine. Congratulations. So let's move on to the third winner, whose name I'm going to struggle to pronounce. Yael Kupik Dar.
I can help you.
Yes, sorry.
Yael is my first name. Last name is Kupiec Dar.
So Yael.
Mm-hmm.
Kupiec Dar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, Yael. So Yael, your work is Rabbit Hole. My remarks. The work brings to mind the chaos of Alice in Wonderland and the mystery down the rabbit hole. It mirrors how we as a society feel with the prospect of COVID. If, when, and how it will impact each of us. Amidst all this chaos are carefully placed objects. None are more prominent than the figure in the foreground and the rabbit peering into the hole. Visually stimulating with its overall patternization, and the artist has taken great care to create this composition. So yeah, that's my remark. I'm going to ask you some questions. In my mind, obvious inspiration, Hieronymus Bosch. Is that true or not at all?
Well, I wasn't thinking of Hieronymus Bosch per se, but I have always been drawn to Flemish painting. So I absolutely can, it makes sense that you would pick up on that. And there's definitely a whimsy, a maximalism, some fantasy, drastic changes in scale, like his Tower of Babel. So I could see where it's actually interesting because I always think of my maximalist aesthetic as being very contemporary, and to put it in that context makes it feel kind of timeless, which I love. So yeah.
What are you trying to, what kind of stories are you trying to say other than Alice in Wonderland? I mean, your title does kind of say a specific story. Is there something else that you are also trying to suggest in this painting of yours?
Yeah, so obviously there's that metaphor of the rabbit hole that you picked up on because it was 2020. And so we're still in that hole of just, the chaos and the political upheaval of the pandemic. And that was definitely when I stumbled upon the idea and the composition of the whole, that seemed very relevant. So I was excited about it. But I think a theme throughout a lot of my work is I'm really interested in what we humans collect and discard. So there is this collection of precious things, and it's also littered with refuse. And the places where those things end up, whether it's a natural history museum, a library, a garden, a landfill, a recycle bin. They're all very crowded spaces, but also beautiful spaces. And then, you know, they're full of so many precious little things that you can focus on. That's or right. Some that you don't quite know what they are.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, if you look carefully at the painting, there's things that you think that might be, that's destined for the trash, but there actually could also be something for the museum, you know? Yeah.
And also there's a loss of innocence too, coming back to the Alice in Wonderland theme, because I loved what was said before me. Definitely looking at my children who are teens now and looking back at what they were, inquisitive children, and what they've seen in their course of their short lives. And that loss of innocence is very poignant to me and beautiful. So I'm trying to capture that in my work as well.
Yeah. You know how you early on you talk about maximalism, you know, like filling the whole painting with things, with color, with shapes, objects, you know, like horror vacui, the fear of empty spaces. So do you always approach your work like that, or is it because of you're just afraid to have empty spaces on your painting?
So yeah, I pretty much always approach my work like that. I mean, I'm sitting in front of an older piece where there are empty spaces, and I'm trying to hide them with my head.
Okay.
But I know in real life, I hate clutter. In real life, I really like a very minimalist architectural environment. But in my paintings, I feel like they reflect society, and they reflect now, which is that we are bombarded with so much information, memories, and then, you know, imagery. If you just look at your computer, there's just so much, and then our brains are just so full. That's why there's such a movement towards mindfulness, is to try to clear all of that noise that's always going on in our brains. And I feel like my paintings kind of oscillate and have that excitement and oscillate between like cyberspace, virtual space, and kind of also conventional space.
That's true, because the black hole that is in the painting actually focuses your eyes, right? Your attention to it. So the composition actually to me is interesting, even though you have so many things on it, so many objects and so many colors on your work. But to me, that it's still a very successful painting, because I feel the composition is kind of successful. There's still harmony in it. So yeah, I think I sort of answered that question for you. Because that's the final question I was going to ask you, is about the composition, because it does look very interesting, and how do you approach it? But I think
I guess I could just add, just really quickly, this painting originally was from an ant's eye view, looking up at, you can see remnants of an underpainting where there was an antler that kind of formed a circle, and it was taxidermy of a deer, and I was looking up at it like a trophy in a museum, and I just didn't like it, so I reworked the painting and suddenly made a bird's eye view. So, you know, I might start with some random perspective, and then it builds. But I definitely, you mentioned initially arrangement, and I definitely approach my paintings like you would a flower arrangement. Like sometimes I will paint things on paper so that I can move them around and place them different places to see if it works. So everything is placed very meticulously, or removed and peeled off in this sort of Mark Bradford. I mean, they're very thick. There's painting upon painting as well. So,
yeah. Well, congratulations. It's one of my favorite works. So yeah.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor to be chosen to be in the exhibit, and then to get this prize. I really appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to the fourth winner, Cal Rice.
Hey.
Hi, Cal.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you though.
Oh.
I can see you now.
There we go.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
So, are you a graduate of mass art?
School of Museum of Fine Arts. Yeah, right up
Oh,
here.
okay.
SFA. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to hear my remarks?
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for selecting the work too. I just wanted to say that, but I would love to hear. Yeah.
Well, your work actually stood out because the kind of aesthetic or the style is the only one like that amongst all the other work. So, and then of course the pearl thing is, you know, just it's for me is romantic. It you know, it talks about it for me references the book, but I like to hear what your story is. But yeah. Anyway, let me tell you my remarks. My response to the work. The pearl stood out because it did not follow a traditional aesthetic. It is simultaneously modern and graphic, while at the same time illustrating what is perhaps one of the rare moments one discovers a pearl within the oysters, enjoyed by so many. It also harkens back to Steinbeck's novella, The Pearl, where the main character goes diving to find a pearl to pay a doctor for medical fees. The man is admiring the pearl in this fresh and different painting and seems to be in awe of both the luster of the nacre on the pearl as well as its intrinsic value. So I was drawn, first of all, to the graphic nature of your work, but then the narrative was the one that really kind of sealed the deal for me. So let me, what do you think? Is that accurate assessment of reading from the work?
You know, narrative in all of my paintings, there's always a pretty well worked out story or narrative like at the root of the painting. I don't necessarily love to like actually tell people what exactly is going on. I think having like a certain level of mystery or uncanniness is kind of important to my work. I guess I just don't like things to be super straightforward. All that to be said, you know, it's also cool if people do take it on face value. It can just be a painting of, you know, a couple shucking oysters, but it can also be more than that. And so hearing, you know, how you read into it, that's kind of like exactly what I'm going for. I like people to attach their own meanings to my work. And even though there is something in my mind, it's not necessarily what I want other people to be taking from it. That makes sense.
So tell us what was on your mind, that you did title it The Pearl though. So
yeah.
You're kind of directing the audience to something. So
yeah, you're kind of on the money too. This was a piece that I had painted. It was kind of one of the first pieces I painted after that like major quarantine, and most of my work for a while was, you know, for that whole year, a lot of my work was, you know, kind of on the sad side, I guess. It was a little more intense than I typically do. And, you know, as things were opening back up, I actually wanted to make a painting that was a little more happy. And so this is kind of, you know, this is as society's opening back up, this is a pearl. It's like a glimmer of hope. I guess that's kind of what was on my mind. There probably is more to it, but that in general is kind of the theme of the painting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think, you know, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was that, you know, if in the absence of narrative, so what would you like the audience to take from the painting, you know, because your painting is kind of graphic, has a graphic nature, has a bit more like digitally rendered kind of quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a print as well, maybe an NFT even. So, you know.
Yeah, I like people to engage with my work like kind of on their own terms. It really is take what you will kind of thing, if that makes any sense. You know, I want people to understand that, you know, that there possibly is a very specific scenario happening. There's something like unidentifiable going on, and then I'll like use themes and motifs and symbols and things to kind of point people in that direction. But I don't want people to be able to like completely put their finger on what that might be. Like I was saying, like that like element of mystery is a pretty major part of my work, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the explanation and the strong work, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you choosing my piece.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's move on then to the final winner, who is Rochelle Zone. It's actually I think it's a fiber piece, even though it's called mixed media. Is Rochelle here? Maybe she's not with us today.
I'm not sure, but why don't you go ahead and read
it? I think she's this is her son. I think she's probably there, but maybe having a little trouble with Zoom.
Okay, I will just go ahead then with the remarks and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, then maybe, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I can't see you though.
Oh,
Rochelle. Yes. Hi.
Why can't you see me? I wonder.
I see you now. No, I can see.
Oh,
no. You're fine now. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, let me read my remarks. Okay, Lost in Red is a fiber work that is bold and organic, abstract yet representational. The rich reddish brown color reminds me of iron-rich dirt. The base is solid and grounded and predictable. The upper portion seems to grow out of the base and possess a motion, which makes the artwork seem alive and biomorphic. That's my feeling when I saw the work. Okay, and I have questions for you.
Okay.
Well, you know, by the way, you can disagree with what I said, though.
I don't.
You don't? That's good. All right. So, what drew you to this medium? It is knitted. The base is has like a, isn't it? It's a knitted.
Yes.
Yeah.
The base is knitted, and but I started with the upper portion of it in gathering the fabric, and I felt it needed some kind of a pedestal of sorts to stand on to show it off. And so I have a wonderful supply of yarns as well as fabrics and lots of different materials and fibers, which I truly love to work with. And actually the upper portion of it, if you would believe, Sulin, is 4 yards of fabric compressed with needle and thread by hand, gathered to make that very soft, beautiful batik material into something very, very strong. Well, not super strong, but to give it a strength. I started that during the pandemic, and the color red just spoke to me because red is so strong, and it seemed to represent all of the chaos that was happening, the love and the hatred and the illnesses and the multi-dimensional things that were occurring in the world. And
it does look like a tower's on fire.
A what on fire?
A tower, like a building's on fire. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think I wasn't feeling as strong as a tower, but I was feeling on fire. It was a very interesting time, and I felt I could express it this way.
It does look like a bunch of flowers as well, a bouquet of flowers, you know, whichever way you like to, you know, you can be positive and negative about it as well, right?
Right. Red can do that.
That's true. So you were drawn to the color red when you started making it because of the COVID and all the horrors that you were seeing.
Yes, I think the emotional aspect of
of red, but I wanted to give it a lot of strength. I wanted to take something that was like fabric, that was soft and flexible, and give it strength, because I think we needed strength at that time.
Oh, wonderful.
We still do.
Yeah. Well, Asian people love red because it's a lucky color.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So have you always worked with fiber or textile?
Yes. Yes, I have for many, many years. Yeah. And yarns and wire, beads, embellishments. And I like working with that material. Well, I like it. I love it. It's also portable. And I don't like being tethered to a sewing machine or an easel or whatever. I like to, whatever I'm doing, I like to take it with me wherever I am.
I see, I see. So you were able to knit the base, and then you attach the top on top of it, and then you can actually work at it while you're like maybe you know, on the road or something. So and then I can tell that your base is actually, isn't there a ceramics like something?
Underneath? Yes. Yeah. The knitting is just like a coat for the base.
Oh, that's
a
great.
Covering for the base.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I hope you keep making work.
Thank you. I'm honored to have been chosen for this, and I thank you so much.
Well, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your work. I think that's it, right? That's 5. We've gone through all 5 winners. Kate, would you like to?
I will. Thank you.
Open the floor to from Q&A or something.
Yeah, we don't usually do Q&A, but we really encourage people to come in and see the work in person and then maybe talk about it. And I did see there was quite a few questions in the chat. I answered the more concrete questions, like how big is something or what material is it, but the rest I think aren't things I can answer. Anyway, I really thank you, Lysanne. You did an amazing job, and all of the artists. I'm impressed by how thoughtful and articulate you all are. I look forward to seeing you at Concord Art, as we all do. I also want to welcome back Lisa Pohl, who was on vacation, is back. She's your registrar, and she. I know all of you students are really excited to email her and talk to her about taking classes, because she's gotten a lot of calls since she was away. So thank you. We have a member show as well, and Lisa Triedman, and we are excited for you to come see that. We weren't able to have an opening for her because it's a small space, but hopefully we will be able to have some gatherings coming up, and we will let you know. People have been talking about maybe we'll have a closing party, which could be very fun. So that's it. Thank you, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you all. If you come in and I'm in the back office, knock on the door, and I'd love to say hi. So take care. And did I forget anything, staff? They usually tell me I forgot everything.
No, I just want to note, I saw some questions in the chat. We are open all weekend. So open 10 to 4:30 tomorrow and Saturday, and 12 to 4 on Sunday. So come see the shows. There's 3. You'll need some time to stay and look around.
Yeah, there's 3 really good shows. So Kim's show is wonderful. It also, there's poetry in it. And you can hear her read the poems with, she used little QR codes. So she's a poet and a collage artist. So Kim Triedman is here too. So
Marissa, Monday is Martin Luther King Day. Open on Monday.
Oh yeah, we're never open Monday. So that's.
Oh yeah, that's duh. Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Well, have a warm evening. It's cold out there, and so stay safe.